Welcome to the fifth session of the human reproduction. So this comes under the unit 6th. Today I am going to deal you about the process of oogenesis. What is oogenesis? Where it occurs? Oogenesis is the process of production of the egg. Egg is an haploid female gamete which is inactive and non-motile. Where it occurs? It occurs in the follicles of the ovary. What are follicles? Follicles are the structural and functional units of ovary. As like seminiferous tubules for testes, alveoli for lungs, nephrons for kidney, and neurons for nervous system. Now in the follicle there are primordial germ cells which are diploid. What do you mean by a diploid? So diploid cell is the one which contains two haploid sets of chromosomes. In human beings 2n is equal to 46. Among 46, 23 are paternal chromosomes received from father, and other 23 are maternal chromosomes received from mother. So this primordial germ cell which is diploid undergoes three stages of development. The one is mitotic phase, second growth phase, and the another one is said to be the meiotic phase. First of all, the primordial germ cell undergoes mitotic phase, which is even called as the multiplication stage. During this stage, the primordial germ cell undergoes repeated mitotic division, which is an equational division, resulting in the formation of large number of the egg mother cells, which is even called as oogonia, which are also diploid. So because mitosis is an equational division wherein the daughter cell will receive the same number of the chromosomes as present in a parental cell. Hence, the primordial germ cell which is diploid by mitosis give rise to large number of oogonia which are also diploid. That is 2n is equal to 46. Now, after mitotic phase, the oogonium undergoes growth phase. So the growth phase in the mammals, particularly in viviparous forms, where the individual give birth to young ones, the growth phase is said to be very shorter and insignificant, or in other words, it is less important, because in these mammals, the primary oocyte will not enormously increase in size, whereas in other oviparous form, that is, egg-laying forms like that of the birds or reptiles or even egg-laying mammals, the primary oocyte enormously increases in size due to the accumulation of large amount of the cytoplasmic content by name yolk. But here, the growth phase in these viviparous mammals is said to be very shorter and then less important. Only less amount of the yolk is said to be synthesized. Hence, the primary oocyte is little bit larger than that of the oogonia. As there is no any division during the growth phase, the primary oocyte remains as diploid cell. Now, the primary oocyte then undergoes meiotic phase, or even called maturation phase. First of all, the primary oocyte undergoes the first meiotic division, which is reductional division. This division converts a diploid cell into an haploid cell. So the first meiotic division is a reductional division, as I said earlier. As a result of the first meiotic division, the two unequal sided cells are formed. One is said to be the secondary oocyte and other is the first polar body. Both are unequal in size and both are haploids. So this inequality is due to unequal cytokinesis or unequal cytoplasmic division. The secondary oocyte then undergoes second meiotic division, resulted in the formation of a larger haploid cell called oocyte and a tiny or very smaller cell called the second polar body, which is also said to be the haploid. Similarly, the first polar body by second meiotic division form two polar bodies which are haploids. Polar bodies can be even referred as polocytes. So as a result of this meiotic division of the first and the second, ultimately one larger cell called oocyte and the other three smaller cells called polar bodies are formed. The oocyte ultimately becomes the functional egg, whereas the three polar bodies are non-functional and degenerated. They do not have any function at all. Now, the question may arise that why the cytoplasmic division is unequal and why the polar bodies are formed though they are non-functional. The reason is the unequal cytoplasmic division is helpful in pushing more than 95% of the cytoplasm into one cell, and the another cell that is formed, the polar body receives just 5% or even lesser than that one. Why it is necessary? This is very essential, particularly for the oviparous animals like that of birds and the reptiles, where it is helpful in pushing the cytoplasmic content, particularly the yolk, into one cell. Thereby, that cell contains enough or sufficient amount of the yolk, which is essential for the nourishment of the embryo during development. If at all, the equal cytoplasmic division occurs, as like in the spermatogenesis, then no resultant cell contains enough the yolk content necessary for the development of the future embryo. Hence, unequal cytokinesis has its own significance in oogenesis. Now the second question is, why the polar bodies are formed though they are non-functional? This is because of the fact that it is helpful in converting a diploid cell into an haploid cell. Formation of the haploid cell is essential to maintain the chromosomal number constant from generation to generation. Because if at all the egg is said to be a diploid, then the sperm is said to be an haploid. When fertilization occurs, you will expect the triploid cell, which is unusual and not possible. If at all the egg is said to be haploid and the sperm is haploid, then the resulting cell is said to be a diploid, which is helpful in maintaining the chromosomal number constant through generations. That is said to be the significance of unequal cytokinesis and the formation of the polar bodies. Now, that means a single diploid primary oocyte by the end of meiosis forms one larger functional egg and three smaller non-functional polar bodies. This is said to be, when compared to that of spermatogenesis, in spermatogenesis, the primary spermatocyte results in the formation of all four functional sperms. But here only one functional egg and three non-functional polar bodies. Now, after knowing all this, when these stages of development occur, let us know. Remember, up to the formation of the primary oocyte, it occurs during the embryonic stage of the development itself. During this embryonic stage of the development, nearly 1 to 2 millions of the oogonia are formed in each ovary. So this occurs before birth itself. Remember, the no more cells are formed or added after birth. Before birth, it occurs. The primary oocyte even undergoes the meiotic division and completes the prophase first and arrested at the stage itself before birth. And the further development occurs only after puberty. Now, these primary oocytes from birth to puberty, large number of the primary oocytes are get degenerated and ultimately led to the result of only 60,000 to 80,000 primary oocytes in each ovary. Remember, before birth, an ovary contains nearly of about 1 to 2 million of oogonia. But after birth, from birth to the puberty, much number of primary oocytes are get degenerated, leading to the retention of only 60,000 to 80,000 primary oocytes in each ovary. This primary oocyte undergoes further development only after puberty. Puberty, as you are aware, that puberty is the attaining of sexual maturity in a girl, which occurs usually between 12 to 14 years of age. During this period, there is discharge of an unfertilized egg from her body with little loss of blood. And it lasts for about 2 to 3 days or even up to 5 days based upon the physiological condition of the body. If at all woman is said to be severe anemic, the bleeding may continue even up to 1 week. As I said earlier, the primary oocyte completed the prophase first of meiotic first division before birth or during embryonic period of development, and it was arrested at that stage itself. Now, the primary oocyte becomes active and they complete the rest of the first meiotic divisions like that are metaphase first, anaphase first, and telophase first like that. And ultimately forms two unequal sized cells. One is the secondary oocyte and other is the first polar body. Both are haploids. Secondary oocyte is said to be quite larger, whereas the first polar body is quite smaller. At this stage, again, the development is arrested. No more changes occur. If at all the egg comes in contact with the sperm, then this further division is said to be initiated and the secondary oocyte completes the second meiotic division, resulting in the formation of oocyte and a smaller, the second polar body. Whereas the first polar body by meiotic second division form two equal sized polar bodies. So as a result, three polar bodies are formed which are non-functional and degenerated. Whereas the larger oocyte itself becomes a functional egg. But remember one thing here, during the menstrual cycle, if at all the egg is not fertilized, remember, it is the secondary oocyte which is discharged from her body, not the egg proper. The egg to be para, there should be the contact of the sperm with that of the egg. This is how the process of oogenesis occurs in the follicles of the ovary by following all these 3 stages. So thank you.